Between March 12 and March 15, 1993, the eastern half of the United States maintained normal late winter operations. Commercial aviation moved passengers through hub airports in Atlanta, Charlotte, and Pittsburgh. Interstate highways carried freight and commuter traffic from Florida to Maine. Electric grids supplied power to approximately 100 million people across 26 states. Weather forecasting systems detected atmospheric disturbances in the Gulf of Mexico, but issued standard winter advisories. Most urban centers, accustomed to seasonal snowfall, operated on assumptions that municipal snow removal, backup power systems, and emergency services could manage typical winter weather events. The eastern United States in early March experiences variable winter weather. The Gulf Coast typically sees mild temperatures and rainfall. The Appalachian Corridor and Mid-Atlantic states expect occasional snowfall measuring 2 to 8 inches. Major metropolitan areas maintain salt reserves, snowplow fleets, and heating fuel supplies calibrated to historical storm patterns. Interstate 95 functions as the primary north-south artery for commercial transport. The National Weather Service operates regional forecast offices with standard 24 to 48-hour prediction windows. Electric transmission infrastructure consists of above-ground power lines vulnerable to ice accumulation and high wind. Coastal communities along the Atlantic from Florida to Massachusetts experience periodic winter storms with manageable surge levels.
On March 11, 1993, a low-pressure system formed over the Gulf of Mexico. Atmospheric conditions included colliding air masses, warm, moisture-laden air from the Gulf meeting cold Arctic air descending from Canada. The system drew energy from unusually warm sea surface temperatures. By March 12, the cyclone began rapid intensification, a process known as bombogenesis, with central pressure dropping 24 millibars in 24 hours. The system moved northeast at approximately 40 miles per hour. Satellite imagery showed expanding cloud formation exceeding 1,000 miles in diameter. The National Weather Service issued winter storm warnings across Florida, Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee, and the Carolinas. Forecasters calculated potential snow accumulation exceeding 12 inches across multiple states simultaneously. By the afternoon of March 12, precipitation began across the Gulf Coast. Birmingham, Alabama recorded the first significant snowfall, accumulating 6 inches within 4 hours. Wind speeds increased to sustained 30-40 miles per hour, with gusts exceeding 60 miles per hour across Georgia and South Carolina. Snow bands expanded rapidly northward through North Carolina, Virginia, and West Virginia. Blizzard conditions developed when falling snow combined with high winds reduced visibility to near zero. Chattanooga, Tennessee measured 20 inches of snow. Asheville, North Carolina recorded 19 inches. The Appalachian Mountains received accumulations exceeding 50 inches at higher elevations. Temperature readings dropped to single digits Fahrenheit across Tennessee and Kentucky. Snow fell simultaneously from Alabama to Maine, covering approximately 780,000 square miles. Interstate highway systems ceased functioning on March 13th. Interstate 75 through Georgia and Tennessee became impassable. Interstate 95 from Florida to Virginia experienced complete closure. Thousands of vehicles stalled on highways, trapping occupants for periods ranging from 12 to 36 hours. State transportation departments exhausted sand and salt supplies. Atlanta's Hartsfield International Airport closed, stranding approximately 200,000 passengers. All major airports from Tampa to Boston suspended operations. Total flight cancellations exceeded 4,000. Air traffic control systems shut down regional hubs. Rail freight operations halted across the South. Amtrak suspended service on Eastern Corridor routes. Emergency vehicle access became impossible in multiple metropolitan areas. Highway patrol agencies recorded over 15,000 abandoned vehicles. Electric power infrastructure failed systematically. High winds brought down transmission lines across 8 states. Ice accumulation on power lines exceeded design tolerances. Substations lost connectivity to generation facilities. Florida reported 500,000 customers without power. Georgia experienced outages affecting 1.4 million customers. North Carolina recorded 1 million outages. Total power loss exceeded 10 million customers across the eastern United States. Telephone landline systems failed when backup batteries depleted after 8 to 12 hours. Emergency communication networks became inoperable in rural counties. Heating system failures occurred in residential and commercial structures. Natural gas distribution maintained pressure but became inaccessible to customers without electricity for ignition systems.
Hospitals activated emergency generators. Water treatment facilities lost pumping capacity. Electrical transmission lines accumulated snow and ice loading. Wind gusts to 50 miles per hour in coastal areas stressed infrastructure already burdened by precipitation weight. Power outages began sporadically Saturday evening and expanded overnight. Utility crews could not reach affected areas due to road inaccessibility. Repair vehicles became trapped or could not deploy from staging areas. Substations in outlying areas lost connectivity as access roads remained uncleared. At peak impact, approximately 200,000 customers across multiple states experienced power loss. Duration extended beyond typical restoration windows because personnel and equipment could not move through the transportation network. Hospitals operated on backup generator capacity. Heating systems in residential and commercial structures faced prolonged outages during temperatures in the teens Fahrenheit. Water treatment facilities maintained operations but faced staffing constraints as employees could not travel to work sites. The interdependency between mobility and service provision became absolute. Infrastructure required human intervention that required transportation that no longer existed.
Major urban centers became immobilized for 48 to 96 hours. Atlanta, Georgia suspended all municipal operations. Birmingham, Alabama declared a state of emergency. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania recorded 25 inches of snow with zero transportation functionality. Washington, D.C. measured 6.6 inches but experienced complete government shutdown. New York City limited operations. JFK Airport remained closed for 36 hours. Boston, Massachusetts recorded 12.4 inches with transit system failures. Approximately 40 million people remained unable to travel or access services. Grocery stores depleted inventory within 24 hours. Pharmacies became inaccessible. Medical facilities operated at reduced capacity. Police and fire departments reported response times exceeding 4 hours in affected regions. Snow removal equipment proved insufficient for accumulation rates and geographic scale. The storm directly affected approximately 100 million people across 26 states and portions of Canada. Total fatalities reached 318 deaths. Causes included vehicle accidents, exposure, carbon monoxide poisoning from improper heating, heart attacks during snow removal, and coastal drowning. Injuries exceeded 1,000, primarily from falls, vehicle collisions, and cold-related trauma. Economic losses totaled between $5.5 and $6 billion in 1993 currency values. Insurance claims covered residential damage, business interruption, vehicle loss, and agricultural destruction. Labor hours lost exceeded 500 million workdays. Schools closed, affecting 10 million students. Emergency shelter systems housed approximately 50,000 displaced persons. Search and rescue operations conducted 2,000 missions. The storm ranked as the third costliest winter weather event in United States history at that time.
Snow removal operations began March 15th as wind speeds decreased. State and federal agencies deployed 10,000 snowplows and salt trucks. National Guard units activated in 12 states to assist civilian authorities. Interstate highways reopened in phases over 5 days. Airport operations resumed March 16th with limited capacity. Power restoration required 7 to 10 days in severely affected areas. Utility crews worked 24-hour rotations, replacing down lines and damaged substations. Federal Emergency Management Agency declared disaster areas in 11 states. Emergency food and water supplies distributed to isolated communities. Medical facilities received generator fuel deliveries via helicopter. Total snow removal costs exceeded $500 million. Roof collapse assessments and structural surveys continued for 30 days. The National Weather Service classified the event as an extratropical cyclone with minimum central pressure of 960 millibars, equivalent to a Category 3 hurricane by pressure measurement. Official designation became 1993 Storm of the Century and Superstorm of 1993. The storm set records for simultaneous snow coverage, lowest barometric pressure in a non-tropical system, and geographic scale of blizzard conditions. Congressional hearings examined forecasting accuracy, which had provided 48 to 72-hour advance warning, but underestimated intensity. Infrastructure vulnerability reports identified electric grid exposure and highway system limitations. The event entered meteorological databases as a benchmark for winter storm classification. Documentation included satellite imagery, pressure measurements, snowfall totals from 1,500 reporting stations, and economic impact assessments archived by NOAA and FEMA.